Hey guys, so here's another video. This one is actually going to be mainly geared towards people who have never tried bent yoga before. We are just going to kind of run through some etiquette things, questions, just simple questions that people have as to what they need to bring and what they need to expect and stuff like that. So the very first thing I want to cover is the fact that we are heated and athletic, which means that the food that you eat and the water that you drink before you come, it is important. Don't eat right before you come. I would give it at least 2 to 3 hours. I personally, if I'm going to go to a 5 o'clock class, I don't eat after like 1 p.m. because it'll start to upset my stomach. We're doing a lot of twisting. We're doing a lot of back bending. We're doing a lot of stuff that's going to move all that food around. And if you've just got a big heavy lunch sitting in your gut, then you might feel a little nauseous. You might just have to come down. It might just be really uncomfortable. So keep that in mind. Be aware of when you're coming to class and then kind of eat accordingly. Something light, if you wanted to do a banana right before, or maybe a protein shake or something like that, an hour before, just so that you have energy, totally okay. Just remember that whatever's in your stomach, it may not digest by the time you're done. So if it's something that's pretty big, it could be like gooshing around in there. Also, hydration. So many times I will tell people, drink lots of water, you're going to sweat, drink lots of water, and what I'll see is they'll walk into the lobby and then they'll start chugging water. I'm like, yeah, that's going to hydrate you a couple hours down the road. Drink water long before you're coming. So if you're coming to an 8 a.m. class, start drinking water the night before. You want your body to be nice and hydrated. When you're hydrated, then you're going to have a nice sweat response, and you're not going to kind of feel the effects of the heat as much. When you're dehydrated, a lot of times that results in dizziness as you're moving around a lot in the heat because you can't cool yourself off as efficiently. So some dizziness, again, a little bit of nausea, I don't know, however you say it. And know that there is no judgment. So if you are feeling any of these things and you come to your mat, you can always just take a child's pose or lie on your back if you don't even know what child's pose is. That's totally cool. You can walk out of the room and just come back when you're ready. We don't care. It's all about taking care of you when you come here. We are not Nazis. We are not going to be like, you must do this, you must do this. This is about you. This is your time. So if you start to feel any effects from the heat, just walk out of the room. Let your ego go and just admit that you need a quick break and come back when you're ready. No worries whatsoever. So that covers food and water. Clothing. I get a lot of questions about clothing, especially people who are just looking to get into weight loss, and so they're a little self-conscious about their bodies a little bit. I hate to break it to you, but wear tight-fitting clothing, because if you wear something that's a little bit big and we go into like a forward fold and you're like, woo! And all of a sudden, you're flashing everybody. So you want to wear a little bit tighter. Usually tank tops are good, sports bras, whatever. Guys, you can go shirtless, we don't care. You also want to wear a little bit tighter pants for the same reason. You want to be able to move, but yet you don't want to be giving everyone a show when you lift your leg all the way up overhead, right? So just kind of do whatever, I don't know, yoga pants. I hate to say it, but yoga pants for yoga is the best thing to wear. A lot of times if you want to be practicing arm balances and stuff, then I would do something that goes over the knee like a capri, because when you go to put your arm down, if this was bare, there's a lot of slippery as soon as you get sweaty. So depending on how you want, like what you want your practice to be, I personally get claustrophobic when I wear pants that go all the way down to my ankles because I get overheated and it's just not pretty. So I like capris. You can wear short shorts if you want to. Personally, whatever. Let's see, what else? Oh, we do go barefoot. I get that question a lot. What do you mean I can't wear my socks? Well, if you really wanted to wear your socks, you could. What you'll find is halfway through class, you're going to be slipping around your mat so much that you're going to take them off anyway. Also, don't bring phones into the yoga room. This is your hour to detach. That being said, again, we are not these strict people who are going to hit your knuckles with a ruler if you do something. If you're on call and this is the only time that you can make your yoga class and you need to bring your phone in, just put it on silent, face it down so if it lights up, it doesn't light up the whole room because the room is dark. you're an adult. We'll leave it to you if you need to, but I highly encourage you, leave the phones out there. Your life is still going to be there 60 minutes later, but if it's in front of you, it's this visual representation that you're anxious, you're tied to it, and we're trying to cut those ties to the external world for just this amount of time. So see if you can go with just kind of leaving it out there, and soon you'll learn that life does go on when you don't have your phone next to you. What to bring? I get that one a lot. So we do have mats that you can borrow at both studios. However, we sweat a lot. And as much as we do wash the mats, it's kind of gross to use a mat that somebody else just sweat on, right? So if you have a mat, I recommend bringing it. You don't have to spend a lot of money. They're $10 at Target. Don't get the really thick ones, like the ones that are like Pilates mats, because what happens is that they're so thick that when you go to put your feet down and then you push pressure on them, then they just slide around. And it's like you're ice skating on the floor. They have no grip on the floor whatsoever. So, something that's, I don't know, ½ inch thick maybe. It would say yoga mat versus like workout mat or Pilates mat or something. That's the best thing to bring. Also bring a towel. It can be a bath towel. It can be a beach towel. You don't have to buy anything fancy. Just something so that if you do start to slip on your mat, you can put your hands on it, and so that you're not going to be slipping around so much. You can also wipe your sweat if you need to. And bring water. Bring water with you. Bring it into the room. Chug it as much as you want. This is pretty intense, especially until you're used to the heat. This whole heat acclimation is a real thing. We'll talk about that in another video. But keep replenishing the water. It's okay to, go through a lot of water while you're in class. Sometimes people actually freeze their bottles of water, and they walk in here with a little ice thing in their bottles of water, and then as class goes, it starts to melt. That's a fun trick. I don't know. With the towel and the mat, one thing that I tell people over and over again is sometimes it seems kind of slippery that the towel slips on the mat. Wet it down. You can just take your water bottle and just kind of put a little bit of water on the towel. It will stick to the mat, and it'll hold it. Or don't put the towel on your mat until you start slipping, because that means there's water on your mat from your own sweat anyway. Let's see, after you sweat, so after class, definitely keep drinking water, keep rehydrating. If you come to class a lot, what we find, and this has happened to me personally, so I 100% know this, you can drink as much water as possible and still not replenish electrolytes. So what you're going to want to do, if you do get a regular practice and you come into the heat and you sweat a lot, is you're going to want to replenish those electrolytes. Personally, I use pink Himalayan sea salt. I put a little bit of it in my water bottle. Tastes like salt water. It's like I'm swimming at the ocean, but you get used to it. You can also put lemon in your water. That will do a little bit of electrolytes. You can drink coconut water every morning. In my protein shake, I mix it with coconut water, and that kind of gives me a nice boost of electrolytes as well. If you find that you're practicing a lot and you're not replenishing the electrolytes, some of the things that can happen is, again, dizziness. I started getting heart palpitations. I would just be sitting there, my heart would start going crazy, and that's when I went to the doctor and found out it was electrolytes. So taking care of yourself, this practice, although it's yoga, it is a physical practice, and it's not something to be taken lightly. We don't push ourselves to injury. We don't have to be all He-Man strong and stuff like that and say, well, I don't need no stinking electrolytes. Take care of yourself. So let's see, I think those are pretty much the beginner. Oh, really quick, what to expect when you come here. Depending which studio, Brighton or Fenton, they're both going to be the same. You're going to come in, you're going to fill out a waiver. Come about 10 minutes early to class. You don't really need much more than that. Or you can go online and fill the waiver out. And then you'll just put your mat down. The room will be dim, and that's for a couple reasons. We just want the environment to be a relaxing one, so you can feel like you can close your eyes, so you don't feel like there's spotlights on you, people watching you or something like that. Sometimes people get really nervous, like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want anyone watching me. So the environment in the room is meant to make it so you don't feel that way. So the lights will be dim. There's going to be music no matter which class it is. Sometimes it'll be loud if it's a vinyasa and we're moving fast. Sometimes it'll be background music if it's a torch and tone and we're holding, or vinyasa is going to be like very like just drowning out the external world noise. So expect some music and expect the heat. It's in the Brighton studio. It's going to be probably about 110 to 14, 15. In the Fenton studio, it's cooler. It's probably 90 to 95 until I can fix that. So get in now if you're scared of the heat. No, I'm just kidding. We'll go through why the heat's all good in another video. And then it'll be an hour-long class for the most part. I think there's a couple hour 15s, and we will take you through some postures. The torch and tone classes are better for beginners. We explain the postures a little bit more. The vinyasas, we move faster. You're completely welcome as a beginner in any of our classes, but you got to let the ego go. You got to know you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be probably a little disheartened. You're going to be humbled. And so you come in knowing it's going to be hard, but that you can do it. I know you can do it. I don't even know who you are watching, but you can do it because anyone can do it. You can always put a knee down. You can come down to your mat. You can lay there for a little bit, or you can go the other way and you can intensify and add in push-ups and little hops and inversions. Anything goes while you're here. So, the most practiced yogi might be going into child's pose, and somebody brand new might be trying to kick up into handstand. It's all good. So, hopefully you'll see that we're not that scary and there is no judgment. So do what you kind of come here and do what you want to do and give us a try. It does take a couple times to get used to the heat and to get used to kind of the flow of things. So give yourself, that's why we have our new student special, 5 classes for $35, is that we want people to come back a couple times, try a different teacher, try a couple different styles, and see what clicks with you. So we will be going into each style in these videos as well as to, the benefits and the pros and the cons and why. So anyways, hopefully we will see you soon, and that eases a couple of your fears. We're very nice people, I promise.